I was just directing another show, and they were like, how long has this show been on the air? And I was like, 20 years. They were like, 20! Like, they just couldn't believe it. I mean, it is people's comfort food. If your comfort food is like a bowl of razor blades, then we are your comfort food.
It seems like, the BAU is more than ready to leave Voit in their rear view at this point, and they are. But Lewis was the one really talking to him recently, trying to get into his head. So first of all, talk about working with Zach on those scenes where you have this different Voit, one who actually is like congratulating her on her wedding and seems to mean it, but then you're looking at him, it's like, he's still a serial killer.
Yeah, I mean, what's been so fun about season 19 for my character and I think for the show is trying to figure out what, and this is the nature of the show, to try to figure out what makes serial killers tick, right? Because they're people, and something went wrong either in their wiring or in their upbringing that's turned them into these monsters, but they're not monsters 100% of the time. And I think the show is really asking the question, like, no one wants to forgive him, no one wants to forget what he's done, but are people entirely just their deeds? And if you've done some bad things, can you try to make amends for them? And he is trying. I mean, he's legitimately trying to make amends. No one can ever make up for what he did, but he is trying in his own way, I think, to make amends. And we have this. We're really also returning to the foundation of what the BAU is, which is to pick the lock of the mind of a serial killer, figure out what makes them tick, and hopefully stop other ones before they start. It's been so fun for me and my character because our whole thing is like he's our Hannibal Lecter. Right? He's our guy in the basement. Tell us why people do this. Tell us what they're going to do next. Help us stop them. And he really genuinely does want to stop other people from doing what he's doing. I think the question for us all along has been, is this guy lying? Is he manipulating us to get out of jail? Is he lying to himself even about whether he's, changed or whether he's still the horrible guy he was before? But for all of us out in the real world who have not killed anybody, I still think the question is relevant. Like, if you've done something bad, can you make it right? Can you at least try to make it right? And I think that's a question that we all ask ourselves every day. And I think it's worth examining and it's worth doing. Like, can you go back and try to, if not undo what you've done, try to right your wrongs in some meaningful way? So I think there's not redemption for him in this season, but he is serving a purpose. And I think it's a meaningful purpose for the rest of us. And for Tara, she's like, listen, I can't let you rot in here. I gotta get some information out of that twisted brain of yours that's gonna help us save lives.
Speaking of that, will any part of Tara miss being able to talk to Voit? Maybe not miss, but like wonder if there was more she could get out of him, because she does say she still thinks there's a lot that they can learn from him.
Yeah. The foundation of profiling, the way that the real BAU started, was talking to John Wayne Gacy, talking to Bundy, talking to, all of these horrible people that did really horrible things, and understanding how they operate. And so for her, I think she will miss it, you know what I mean? Because it's the foundation of her job. It's the core of her job, which is understanding the serial, killing mind, understanding the sociopath. It's how she built her career. And we can't do our jobs without understanding how they work. So yeah, and I think if you're a psychologist or someone who's interested in psychology, human nature, you are always seeing the value in human life, and I think that's really important to her, which is it's some value here. There is some, if not empathy, there is some compassion for the human part of this person. And I think, the larger question is, do you just throw people away? Or do you try to find some way for their life to be of value? You don't let them back out, but you figure out, how can this person be of value? How can this person repay their debt to society? So she's gonna miss him. He's crazy, but that's her gig, right? Hanging out with crazy people.
So the last thing Voit does, though, is cover for his daughter, who is the one who killed James Crowley, killed the fan. So how worried is Tara about Holly becoming like her father?
I think she's very worried about it. I think Tara's very worried about Holly becoming like her father. And I think Holly and Voit, the relationship between them and his understanding of her mind is exactly the question we're asking ourselves all the time. Is it nature or nurture? Is she born to be a killer because it's something that was in her father's genes, or can we nurture her out of that outcome, which I think he really wants. He doesn't want her to become like him. Poor Voit. Like, Voit wasn't born a sociopath, right? He was made a sociopath through like a long life of like horrible abuse. And I think but I think his fear is, like, was I made this way or was I born this way? And I think he definitely doesn't want his daughter to end up like him because, the fact of the matter is now that his brain has been adjusted, he's like, I did terrible things. They're unforgivable things. They're reprehensible things. I do not want this life for my daughter. So again, I think it's a question we all ask ourselves: is it nature? Is it nurture? And if it is nurture, can we nurture somebody away from that? I hope we can.
Especially because, like, she did not have to keep stabbing him. And there was that look in her eyes in that scene.
She was changing. She was changing in that moment. And I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see Holly again, guys. I don't know. So don't ask me.
Maybe season 25. Give her a little time to get into it.
Goddess's ears.
Tara also was one to get into the fans' head to figure out it was OCPD, not OCD. What did she think of him compared to other major unsubs that the BAU has dealt with?
Well, I think for him, the difference, there's a nuanced difference between OCD and OCPD. So this was really like a very granular, very thinky, very like brainiac part of our show. But also we've dealt with bigger, more nefarious. I mean, once she unlocks, when she picks that lock, they know what to do and they know how to get them. And I think that's when you see the BAU at their finest. We've had some other pretty hardcore, foes, but obviously Voit was the smartest and the most elusive and the most, he was always a step ahead of us. I think they're thrilled to have him behind bars, and I think they're also thrilled to have been able to use what they know that has nothing to do with Voit to catch this guy. So I think I don't know. I don't think the fan's even top 10 because he's kind of a poser.
They've been through so much. That is true.
Are we going to get a break? We were doing ATX, and fans were like, are we ever going to see them go on vacation? And I was like, we could use one.
There was that episode when they had like the day off, like the last season of the CBS
I think it was called Saturday, right? I think it was called Saturday.
But they still, like, there was still things going on.
Yeah, there's no rest for the wicked, so there's no rest for the weary either.
The season ends with the introduction of a case I wish we were going to see, but Erica told me that we won't, nor will we hear about it, unfortunately. But that's kind of like the exact kind of unsub that I'd have loved to have seen the BAU profiling.
Right. Well, listen, you never know. One of the fun things about the show is that people have the feeling that we're always solving cases, even when you're not seeing them. We're always working, and I think that's why people love the show. There is a really comforting, I've said this before, but there's a really comforting feeling in the belief that there's a team of tireless, relentless, intelligent people like working around the clock to keep the rest of us safe. And so we solved that case, and that person's already in prison.
But that's also why, like, the original run ended the way it did, with everyone going off for another case in the elevator.
Yeah, we're out there. We're working hard.
We also have to talk about Tara and Prentice's friendship and how much I love that. And I love the scenes that we've been getting, especially on Evolution. Like, we got the smoke break. Yes. And then here we get, like, them drinking at the end of the episode. And then when Ray comes in and they're like, not Voit, like, the reaction to that was great. But I feel like being on streaming allows for, like, scenes like that to have the time, because you're not beholden to that 42 minutes, right?
Yeah, exactly. That additional 18 minutes that we got when we moved from, broadcast to streaming has just been a boon. And it's one of the reasons why I think the show is so good and it continues to get better. And I think it's really interesting to be on a show. We're filming season 20 right now, and we're just doing the best work we've ever done. I feel like every season it just gets better and better. It's that extra time. It's that ability to get people more invested in the characters, more invested in their backstory. This is really hard work. I mean, this is real work. Real people do this work. It's really dark. And it would affect these characters in myriad ways. And I think that we get invested in not just the storylines of, like, the crimes we solve, but how it affects these human beings to be around this much darkness all the time, and to feel a real commitment, a real dedication to not stopping. A lot of people would be like, that's enough for me. I can't do this anymore. But these people are just, whether it's healthy or not, I can't tell you, but they are compelled, because they know that they make a difference. And we have real profilers that we work with on the show, and we talk to them about it a lot. How do you deal with this darkness? And a part of that is, just the companionship, the camaraderie, the ability to have gallows humor, to make fun of each other, to make fun of themselves. But especially in season 19 and season 20, we're going to deal with some of how much our characters have gone through and how that's affected them personally, and how they're dealing with it, and how they're struggling to deal with it, because it is pretty hardcore.
Yeah, because I like this season we got, like, the Tara and Prentice, and then we had, like, JJ and Garcia kind of together because JJ dealing with what she was. When are we getting the four of them just having like a girls' night out?
Well, that happens in real life all the time. Yeah, I mean, we're really close, and I think probably it's been out there for a while that we have this thing called Hot Tub Wine Machine where we hang out and drink rosé in Kirsten's hot tub, and it's there's a lot of closeness off camera. And I do actually think we have some stuff with all the girls in season 20, which I think people will really enjoy. We're trying to drag some of that energy back into the show, but yeah, so it's coming. I think people will be excited to see that next season.
How was it to like close the book as an agent on like the Sicarius of it? Because like even when it wasn't about him, it kept looping back to Sicarius.
Right. For the character, I think they want to close cases. You know what I mean? And so I think they're very happy to close the file on him. You know what I mean? I think also it's a comfort to know that like he's not going to be doing any bad deeds anymore. You know what I mean? I think they want to close cases. They want to keep people safe. So I think it's good for the characters. For me personally, I really loved working with Zach. So I'm going to miss him. You know what I mean? I loved how the relationship between the two of them evolved, but at its core, it was delivering to the audience the essence of what the BAU does. But then for us as performers, we got to hang out a lot and talk a lot and kind of go head to head, and and so we miss Zach.
Well, I mean, Voit is still alive. You can always go visit him in that undisclosed location.
I could when he's in Witzek, like mowing lawns somewhere.
So you're now filming season 20. How far into the season are you?
We're starting episode 7 next week. Oh. So we're deep into it. Yeah, it's going great.
Are you going to direct again?
Not this season. I've been directing on a lot of other shows, and I just directed another show that I can't talk about now. But hopefully, I'll come back and get to talk about it when it comes out. But yeah, so not this season. We wanted to bring in some. We love the show. There's only 10 episodes, and we wanted to give some directors that have been trying to get on the show a while an opportunity to come on. So this year, all the actors that direct stepped back so we could bring in some new directors, and that's been really fun for us. And just new energy and new blood. I love directing Criminal Minds. Like it's my family, so I love taking care of my family. So I'm wistful, but I'm also excited for the new directors that we've had come in.
Yeah, you're so good at directing.
Thank you.
The evil episode you did with the demon baby.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Thank you. I love that episode.
I always think about that scene.
That was such a blast. Yeah. Thank you.
We talked about how like Tara really got into like the killer's heads this season.
Yeah.
Are we going to continue to see that next season for her too?
Yeah, absolutely. This next season is a really, really season. Like I'm just so proud of the show. I've been doing it for a decade. Some people have been doing it for 2 decades of us. And the fact that it stays exciting and it stays interesting to us as actors is just a feat, just an incredible creative feat. The writers are always pushing themselves, always pushing us. And so it's a delight to play. Season 20 is off the chain. People are going to love it. It's so good. And the characters are evolving. I mean, I know it's Criminal Minds evolution, but our characters are evolving. And so I feel like, and I say it constantly, like that we're doing our best work right now after 19 seasons of television is just crazy. But because they've worked so hard to keep these characters human and to have them go through really human experiences, JJ losing her husband, raising children, every single character on this show, there's some really incredible stuff that's going to happen with Prentice this season and with Rossi this season. I get to do some head shrinking. I get to shrink my friends. Yeah, which is great. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's like when you're dating someone and they're like a handyman, and you're like, you sure you don't want to get under there and fix my sink? And they're like, I thought we were friends. I'm like, and a friend would help their friend with the sink. So I get to go around and help everybody, with their own psychological problems, which I think is actually a gift, like a really beautiful thing to be able to do.
Who's most and least receptive to that this season?
Oh, it's just, Rossi's always fighting everybody. Rossi's just gruff. He's the old grumpster.
I love that we've seen JJ's kids grow up because we got flashbacks in season 19 to when I was like, oh my God,
Little
he's now
babies.
off in college.
I know, it's insane.
I was happy to see that there was no drama for Tara and Rebecca this season. I have to say, they got to enjoy, it was a nice stable part, but there was also no time for drama. For them.
We're saving lives. So now there's no time for relationship issues.
So how are they next season? Are we continuing to see that stability?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't want to give it away because I feel like it's a really interesting turn that's going to happen this year. For Tara and Rebecca, Rebecca was there all the time because she was dealing with Voit. You know what I mean? And so that was really like a natural tie-in for her. So that is going to evolve, I think, in season 20. Nicole's such an amazing actress and such a great addition to the show, so we're really excited to have her back. But I think also, the problem is for all of us, this work is relentless. So you have 2 minutes to be happy, and then you got to go back out in these streets and fight bad guys. So Yeah.
So
Well, maybe there'll be some other kind of drama.
But it is nice to have like one part of their life that they can like lean back on. I feel like because of what they're going through at work.
And she understands what the work is. You know what I mean? I think it says a lot about like being in the same field or in a similar field as your partner, that like they're not like, why were you all out all night? You know, they understand what the work is and the toll that it takes, and you can lean on each other in that way.
You're talking about the characters evolving and everything, and like I love the stuff we got in season 18 when we actually explored Tara's mom.
Yeah.
So are we
I
going
love that episode.
Are we going to see anything new in season 20 for her?
I don't know what I can tell you. I'm going to guess the answer's nothing.
It can be yes or no, just like
yeah. You know, I just think you're going to see a lot more of our characters' interior lives come up in this season. You know what I mean? Friendships being tested, previous relationships coming back up them. You know, Alves is going to be dealing with previous friendships that are going to come back into his life in really intense ways. Same thing for Tyler. Tyler Green has a previous relationship come up in a really intense way for him. So there's going to be a lot of everybody's past coming into the present, and people having to deal with unresolved issues in really, really, really beautiful, really evocative ways. You know, they're heroes. Sometimes they got to be heroes for themselves.
We saw Garcia's place a few times this season. We've gotten glimpses into Tara and Rebecca's home. Are we getting to see it again?
I don't know. We're not done shooting yet. So maybe?
This next season is the show's 20th, a milestone of sorts, and like not one that many shows reach, but one that is very well deserved for Criminal Minds. And as you said, a decade for you for playing Tara Lewis. So congrats on that. What does it mean for the show and for you to reach numbers like that?
It's just so unheard of. There's just so few shows that go this long. You know, it's so funny. Like, I was just directing another show, and they were like, how long has the show been on the air? And I was like, 20 years. They were like, 20! Like, they just couldn't believe it. You know, just shows don't, and especially nowadays, shows go 3 seasons. That's a 3, you know, it's insane. So I think we really do feel a sense of accomplishment, you know, and again, that the show is like #1 on the platform every time it drops, you know what I mean? That we're really doing well, that we're like, last week we were #5 in all streaming shows, you know, take that, House of the Dragon. And, you know, we're just really, really proud of it, you know? I think people have this sense of like, oh, the show is, you know, long in the tooth, but it's not. I mean, it's as fresh and as interesting and compelling as I think it's ever been. We work really hard to make sure that it is. And then also I feel like, I don't know, I mean, it is people's comfort food. If your comfort food is like a bowl of razor blades, we are your comfort food. But we never want to cruise, you know, we never want to be like, oh, you know, people will just watch, so no big deal. You know, I think everybody's striving to just churn in great performances and great stories, and I think we have another decade of shows in us, because the show has gotten so thoughtful and smart and engaging. And I think one thing we're doing really well now is allowing the audience to profile along with us, like making the show smart, making it the kind of show that you can lean forward, they can be a part of the puzzle solving, rather than just sitting back passively. People really get connected to the material. We have our, you know, bad guys of the week, but we also build this mystery over the season that people can really lean into and really get their hands around. And we got lots more stories to tell. But I'm so proud of it. I mean, 20 seasons is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, and also like because there wasn't much of a break between the CBS and Paramount Plus, because there are shows that come back, but they'll come back years and years later, but not for Criminal Minds.
Well, I mean, I don't want to talk out of school, but I think they realized they made a mistake as soon as they took it off the air. They were like, oh. You know, it's like when you're donating clothes, and then you realize you like threw out your favorite shoes, and you're like, oh.
It's also because streaming became more and more popular at that point. So then, because also with streaming, you can lean into the horror and thriller elements of the show in a way you can't on broadcast.
That was it. We were made for streaming. We were made for, like, the show really came alive when we moved to streaming. The opportunity, to be able to be more, grittier, more muscular, more authentic, to go deeper into the characters' lives and their interior experiences. And also, honestly, for the show to just be more honest, like, you know, I remember like a tweet, right, like when our first season on Paramount Plus, and someone was like, oh, Rossi cursing was the adjustment I didn't know I needed on you know, like, he dropping dirty words, everybody come to the living room. But that's what you would do. That's what you would say if you tripped over a dead body, you might drop an F-bomb or 2. So the show feels more real, I think, now, which is really great.
Because the characters can react to what they're seeing. Like, if you're seeing things like the spine thing still is
Yeah, no, that's a rough episode.
I don't think that could have been on CBS.
No, it couldn't have been. It couldn't have been. And there's an episode in season 19 where a guy is passing judgment on adulterers with a sledgehammer, and like it's just so gritty. But also, people love horror, and the horror elements of our show, we've really been able to like expand those and grow those. I think you're seeing, especially on the film side, how popular horror films are and how much people love them, and so we're able to deliver these cases in a way that feels much more authentic and much more tied to what would happen in real life. Although, guys, Paget said this recently on a panel. She's like, there really aren't this many serial killers in the world. She's like, there's only like 6 active serial killers at any one time, like on the planet. So everybody, yes, lock your doors, but like, relax.
But that's why the show continues to resonate with viewers, and it keeps bringing in new fans too. Yeah. That's the thing.
That's what's wild is when you meet like someone who wasn't even alive when the show first on the air, and they're like a big fan of the show. They're like, I've watched every episode of the show. I'm like, you're 13. Where are your parents?
I know. I saw like tweets this year, and it was like season 19. I'm going to catch up, and I'm like, have fun catching up.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Have fun. Good luck with that. I mean, the great thing is you can, because it's on. There's an episode of Criminal Minds on somewhere, everywhere on the planet at any one time. Like the number of times I've been like out of the country and like checked into a hotel room and just turned the TV on, just turned it on. And then Criminal Minds comes on. Like I'm not one of those weirdos who needs to watch myself on TV, guys. Like no, I never like turned it on. But you'll just be like, huh? Because you'll be seeing, like somebody else's voice coming out of your mouth in Spanish or Portuguese or something like that. Like I definitely don't sound like that in real life.
But it is a show that's so bingeable. That's the thing.
It is, and it's playful too. I think we've also tried to bring again like that gallows humor and that playfulness into the show, so that there's some relief from the darkness as well.
So what do you continue to enjoy about playing Tara?
She's just a smarty pants. I love her. She's just, she's really ambitious. She's really engaged. She cares really deeply about her outcomes. She's serious without being dry. I just love that she knows what her mission on the planet is, which is to save people's lives, But I also think she's really compassionate. I think she can see the humanity in everybody. And I don't know, like the season 20 is off the chain. Like season 19 is amazing, season 20 is incredible. We're doing so much interesting stuff with our characters, and I feel like if you already love these characters, you're gonna fall more in love with them. And I also love that they really love each other, and that's something that I think also translates to everybody on set. Like, Paget literally the other day was like, I just love coming to work here, you guys. It was very genuine, you know what I mean? It's just we really have formed a team that I think hopefully some of that energy comes out in our performances.
Yeah, because so many of you just came back from the original run, so it's just and then it's just adding
family.
In RJ.
It's been family, yeah.
You've had some great guest stars over the years, including in season 19. Speaking of that episode with Sledgehammer Dash was amazing.
Oh my God, I know.
Is there anyone on your wish list to have come in, and do you have any ideas about roles?
I tried to hire Joel McHale for one of the episodes that I directed, and I couldn't get him, and I think that would be really fun. I mean, listen, I was saying this in a really loving way, but he plays a great asshole, so I would, and he's very charismatic. I mean, he has a lot of charisma, so he would be really good as an unsub. Oh, yeah. That's my only big idea. We got to have Nicole Brown this season, which was so great because I love her so much. I just love her so much. And then, so the way we kick every episode off is we do a table read, and it's over Zoom. And you typically don't know who's been cast on the show until the Zoom. And then you're like, you see your friends in those little boxes and you get really, really excited. So when I was like, oh my God, Yvette! Really, really excited about that. And really cool role for her. And I hope we get to do more stuff like that.
Yeah, I loved it. Because when her first episode, I was like, there has to be more. And then when we got to episode 9, I was like,
yes.
Also, because her and Paul together were so
I know, they were great. They were so good together. Paul F. Tompkins is amazing on the show. He's so good. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. It's been so great to talk to you. This season was so good. I can't wait to see season 20.
It's great. I mean, I know I'm on the show, but I like every single script this season has been such a banger. Like there's some wild shit happens in season 20, and every table read we're just like, oh. Because the writing's been amazing. Yeah.
The show's so, there's no sign that this show is slowing down. No. I can imagine season 25, 30.
Yeah.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah, and because it's not just about the cases, it's about the characters. People come back for those characters, and those relationships continue to deepen. They continue to become more complex and more interesting. We continue to kind of help each other through the same life milestones that people are going through in their actual lives. And I think, people can watch the show, imagine themselves in that position, imagine, that the life of a hero is still a human life, you know what I mean? And I think they've done a really good job of conveying that.
Yeah, because even though it gets really dark, there's also that closure and that it's done. He's away. Don't worry about this serial killer.
Goodbye to our good friend Voit, who, we won't warn you.